I am Nicole Campbell. I'm 31 and I am from Hastings, Michigan. I teach at Dunlap Elementary and I teach 5th grade. It's just fun to watch them grow and learn, and the energy level of 5th grade is just amazing. Easter weekend of 2018, I was getting in the car and I kind of felt a pop in my hip. And so on Saturday I was really hurting.
ER visits can be long and tedious, and you just sit there and wait for them to finally give you a shot.
And I started to get cold and clammy.
Within 30 minutes, I heard the doctor say, "I'm calling an ambulance, we're taking her to Grand Rapids."
My leg went from showing no signs of anything to having huge blood blisters and bruises up my thigh into my hip.
Nicole had a rare hip infection called necrotizing fasciitis. It was a flesh-eating bacteria that was destroying her from the inside out.
I was in septic shock and everything was shutting down, including my kidneys.
If the doctors were unable to stop the infection, it would attack her vital organs. They gave her less than a 20% chance to live.
And so my parents had to make the decision to amputate my leg from the hip joint down.
And when the doctor came to us, it wasn't that we're going to take her leg in order to save her life. It was, we're going to take her leg in hopes of saving her life.
Most common type of amputation is above knee or below knee. In Nicole's case, hers is at her hip.
Meaning that there would be nothing to attach a prosthetic to. If Nicole was to live, she would never be able to walk again. She would spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair. So this wasn't exactly a decision that anybody could make lightly.
And so I just kind of put it on good old social media, which I know gets a lot of criticism, but I tell you what, it spread like wildfire, and before we knew it, hundreds and hundreds of people were praying.
They woke me up, I still had the tube down my throat, and she was like, "Hey, we had to take your leg because you were so sick, but it saved your life." And I just gave her a thumbs up. Okay, this is a new challenge and I'm gonna have to figure out how to live life with one leg, but that's okay because I get to live life.
The goal was to return home, but she had a whole flight of stairs to enter. The goal was to return to teaching, but how was she going to do that when she couldn't stand up or couldn't walk?
When I first came to rehab, I could barely sit up. We had just gotten to the point where I could lift my arms up and lift my leg up a little bit.
Due to her amputation, Nicole has had to look at life and things that she enjoys doing in an entire different way.
I'm a very stubborn, independent person. And so for me, being independent was really important.
She's always been strong, she's always been driven, she's always been like, I'm going to accomplish this if I set my mind to it, but wow, have I seen that here.
Her goals included independence with dressing and grooming from a seated or bed level position, transfers to and from the wheelchair and bedside commode.
And physical therapy, there was a couple of them that just thought she needs to get out of this bed.
Initially, Nicole required the use of a mechanical lift for transfers and a power wheelchair for all mobility.
Nicole really wanted to see her students and co-workers again before school let out for the summer.
We took a field trip to her school. It came at just the right time in her rehabilitation here.
It was a long 3 to 4 hour duration, and we needed clearance for traveling.
It was important she achieve, of course, optimal strength and endurance, tolerating sitting in her chair for a long period of time, managing the wheelchair in the community, and making sure medically she was ready.
Seeing her back in her school just proved to me that she's going to be able to go back.
The look on her students' faces when they finally saw Miss Campbell again was just absolutely amazing. You could tell how much they loved her and how much they cared about her.
To see her in her element doing what she's so passionate about made it so incredibly impactful. It truly gave the meaning of treating the whole person.
After all she had been through, she continues to be joyful, motivated, and excited about life.
There's a lot that I can do now that I couldn't do just 4 weeks ago.
Just her positive attitude and her personality, for her to believe in everything happens for a reason, inspires, I think, everyone around her.
As far as teaching and traveling and what I do in the future, that hasn't changed. I can still do everything I did before, it's just a little different. There was such a big chance that I could have died.
I'm just so thankful that God allowed us to keep her.
He had an 80% chance to take my life. And obviously God didn't want that, so God kept me here. So there's obviously something I'm supposed to do, and I'm ready for that challenge.